Okay, good morning. Reading the room, I figured we would get started here, being mindful of time. But thank you all for being here this morning for the grade 8 to grade 9 transition. We affectionately like to say that we understand that there is sometimes limited parking at both the high school and at Saks. So we do understand if people have to walk further than it would be from Saks to get here. So we appreciate you coming out on this chilly morning and joining us. So just a quick introduction. My name is Dave Gussich. I'm the proud principal over at Saks Middle School, and I have the good pleasure of being able to kick this meeting off, and I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues in a little bit. Just a quick personal aside, as I was going through the slides this morning, and I saw a note on there that said the class of 2029. It brought me back immediately to, my gosh, my youngest, Nicholas, is in 8th grade, and I remember he was going into kindergarten. It's like, class of 2029, oh my gosh, it's so far away. And here we are. So time does fly, but the good part is that we have so much to look forward to, and we are in such great, capable, professional hands here. And this is just one phase of the transition that you guys are going to be going through. So without further ado, we're excited to share with you all that has to happen, but there's still so much that's going to be going on at Saks Middle School that we're really excited about, this being the best semester yet for our current 8th graders. They've been a terrific class. We're so proud of them. They've grown up, they've matured, they continue to learn and expand their thinking and challenge us and entertain us and all those great things. So we're really looking forward to making this the best semester for them and for us collectively as they wrap it up, so they can only look back fondly on their experience at Saks Middle School, but also the excitement of looking ahead to New Canaan High School. So while we want them to be present, there is a lot to plan for and to be excited about. So we are going to be filming this today. It is being filmed, as well as all the resources that are going to be available on the website, the transition site. So again, this is one step in the journey that you're going to have a lot of support all along the way. So what this is your first transition or your fourth transition, you're going to see the close relationships that exist between Saks Middle School and New Canaan High School. It's one of the wonderful things about New Canaan Public Schools. We do so much together collectively. We really do operate on the same page. And I like to say we have great relationships with each other too, and hopefully that comes through in the meeting today as well. But first and foremost, that you're going to see how that's going to benefit not only you as parents going through this transition, but you're going to see how much that means for your children and how much these professionals care about your children as they go through this process, because this is their first and only time going from 8th to 9th grade. So a huge thank you, which we're going to do an introduction to the team here. While they may have done this anywhere collectively, probably safe to say, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times between all of the students, they recognize that this is your child's experience. This is your experience. So they never passively say, yeah, this is a transition process. This is how do we make this the best process possible for your child? And that's something that really does lend itself to why it's such a smooth transition for your kids. So you'll get to see how professional they are, and and again, most importantly, how much they care about your kids. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick intro. We have Mr. Egan, who's going to come up in a moment and say a couple of words. Miss Carrero is also going to come up. I have Dr. Ferreira, our Saks Middle School assistant principal, here as well. Jay Egan and Danny Melsner from New Canaan High School Athletics are here. And then we have Miss Beltran here from Saks Middle School. We have Mr. Lepisto here from Saks Middle School. Unfortunately, Ms. Nettleton was not feeling well today. She sends her regards, but it's probably best for everybody that she's not here, and we hope that she gets better soon. We have Ms. Rivera here, the chair for counseling here at New Canaan High School. We have Ms. Drexel here from counseling as well, and we have Ms. Becky Pavia for the math department as well. So at this time, I'm going to bring Mr. Egan up to say a couple of words, and we'll go from there.
Hi, everyone. I just want to welcome, it's hard to believe, the class of 2029. I think for me, it's telling me I'm starting to get a little bit older. This is my 16th year right now, so next year will be 17th year as a high school principal, my 11th here at New Canaan High School. How many of you will be first-time parents as high school? Wow. I get it. Don't be scared. My daughter's now a sophomore in college. I took Friday off to take her. She's studying abroad. She's at UConn. She's studying abroad in London. So I cried like a baby after I dropped her off. I remember going to my freshman year of high school, how scary it was as a parent. You just wanted to know your students would be safe and happy and well-adjusted and would do well. This is an amazing school. There are so many caring adults here that are here to help your children. They're going to push them to grow academically, but they're going to push them to become better people too. There's so many opportunities for them to get involved in so many things here. I just hope you're all, I know you're probably nervous now, being first-time parents, but I'm just here to tell you, you're going to love it here. While Saks is an amazing place, I'm sure you all loved your time there. If you've talked to people about the high school, this is a special, special place. They're going to come here. They're going to love it. There's opportunities and freedom for them they haven't really seen yet. And why that can be scary a little bit as a parent, this place is great. They truly are cared for, and the classes are rigorous and hard, but also challenging in a way that it starts to pique their interest for life. So I hope you're excited. I hope to get to know all of you personally if I haven't met you. And I just don't want you to worry. This will be special and you will love it. So thank you very much. And we'll turn it over to Mrs. Carrero. I do want to say this. I have to apologize. I have a couple of colleagues here I have to apologize to. So that's Jay Egan and Danny Meltzer over there, are the athletic director and assistant athletic director. So sometimes I say things and the superintendent will tell me words matter. And so I was talking to them yesterday and we talked a little bit about this meeting. I said, just be professional. And they both looked at me. They had some choice words for me because they were like, we're always professional. What are you talking about? And I have to apologize because they are always professional. They're excellent at what they do. And I embarrassed myself, which is won't be the last time either. You guys will see that as well. So anyway, at this point, Mrs. Carrero. She's your 2029 administrator.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have our first introduction here. So yes, I'm Christy Carrero, and I get the privilege and pleasure of being your student's grade level administrator. So I am your Dr. Ferreira through their 4 years of high school, and both Julie and Dave have just been ranting and raving about how awesome your kids are. So I am so thrilled that I get to work with them. Just a little tidbit about what I get to do. So I am just part of their academic journey, so all things high school. So some social experience, academic achievements, any attendance or discipline, or just my role is just to help all of you support your students and make this the best 4 years of their life. So I couldn't be more excited. I look forward to working with all of you over the next 4 years and getting to know each and every one of your students. And you'll have my information, so don't hesitate to reach out to me if I can be of any help. So welcome.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lepisto in about 20 seconds or less, but just to give a quick overview, again, the program is going to be very informative. We document and archive and share all of these things, and we'll have an opportunity for question and answer at the end as well, and we'll stick around afterwards, and we're always going to be accessible for that too. So if you're wondering anything as you go through, please don't worry. We will have an opportunity to answer questions and provide as much information as you need. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Lepisto. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Good morning. Thank you again for coming. Here's our agenda for the meeting. We're going to go over the transition process, highlighting both the resources available for you ongoing on the website, and we'll give you some detail about the timeline. And we're going to give you a lot of information about the high school. We call it an overview because you can see we're going to cover a lot of topics. The schedule and courses, world language, electives, the student support team here, co-curricular activities, aka clubs, athletics, and other high school options. And we'll talk to you about next steps, both for you and your kid, and we'll have some time for question and answer. So the transition process is starting, obviously, for you guys today and for your kids as well. We'll be kicking off right now in the beginning of January. The process includes classroom lessons. All the information we'll provide on our websites. As you know, parent emails will continue, and your student and you always have the option of meeting with us, your Saks Middle School school counselors. And the kids get a lot of information from their 8th grade teachers, of course. There'll be an evening orientation and then an optional student tour in August. I just wanted to give you a quick look at the websites and where things are. As you're in the transition, you are going to be hopping and toggling between both the Sachs Middle School site and the high school site. So you could see listed the clicks to get you each place. But if you see starting with the menu is often helpful. So I'll just show you that briefly. Student resources. So here we are at the Sachs Middle School and Intermediate homepage. But from the menu here, if you go to student resources, the Sachs 8-9 transition site will have most things. Not doing so well with this trackpad. Then on the high school page, we wanted to highlight, again, that same submenu of student resources, and in particular, the student handbook. So again, from up here on the top menu, student resources, and the student handbook has a lot of information, kind of this like general overview of everything that can be really useful. And then also in school information, something that you and your students will start using is the program of studies. So we describe it to them as the course catalog where you go shopping for your classes. So those are some useful things to highlight. So to go in a little bit more detail, Sarah will take you through the timeline.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So Brad mentioned, we are always available, Sachs counselors, for questions and guidance. I have appointments during workshop today with a couple of kids who emailed me, so they know they're good self-advocates. Obviously, we're at the coffee today, and we have a classroom lesson scheduled tomorrow. We have a backup date since Mrs. Nettleton is not feeling well. There's a possibility we need to reschedule that. Not too far out, but just a possibility, just so you're aware. In February, we have our second classroom lesson. So the one for tomorrow or next week is the overview. So that's everything about the high school. And they start to get really excited. It's a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun lessons we do during the course of the year. In February, we do a lesson all about electives at the high school, which they really don't have a lot of choice in middle school. And they get super excited about that, especially if they have older brothers and sisters who've been talking about all these cool classes they've been able to take, and they can't wait to do it. In March, we have our 8th grade parent and student orientation night, which is scheduled for Tuesday, March 4th in the evening. You will get more information about that as it gets closer. And that's a fantastic evening. It's dynamic. The high school does such a good job. It's really experiential. Highly recommend it for both students and parents. If somebody, if you can't make it, that's okay. Your student can come, but they do it in the evening to try to avoid, I think, conflicts with sports and things so everybody can make it. So I would put that on your calendar. And then our last classroom lesson is going to be on March 19th, and that's where our Sachs 8th graders enter their course requests. So they enter their electives in order of preference, and by that time they have seen what courses they're recommended for by the high school and by Sachs teachers. That happens the Friday before. So a lot going on that week. And then in April and June, there are optional meetings with us. And also April 1st is the deadline for appeals, which you'll hear more about, and also to finalize your course requests. So April 1st is an important deadline as well. Not April Fools, real April 1st. And so April to June is optional meetings, and August there's a student tour that I believe is organized by the PTC, or however it's called. PFA, sorry. Okay, at the high school. And it's usually a couple days before school starts. We don't have an exact date yet. But then also, jump in if I'm not giving the right information, the sort of more official orientation for freshmen, I believe, is the first day of school. Is that right? So everybody comes the first day of school, and then the upperclassmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors get to go home half day, which the freshmen don't think is very fair. But the whole purpose of that is that they get full attention for the rest of the day, and that's an orientation for them. So that will be, everybody will be included in that. The one a few days before school is optional. And you will be hearing more about that. So I think that's it, and I think you're up, Cindy.
Okay, so, all right, so welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see so many new-time parents that you haven't actually heard this before, which makes me feel better. All right, so there's a lot of things to consider when you're starting to help your child choose their schedule for next year. First, let me show you what a schedule looks like. We run on a block schedule, so this looks clear as mud right now, I'm sure. But we do an 8-day rotation. There are 4 classes a day, 85 minutes long. So, for example, if you look at an A day, the blue at the top, so your child maybe has English that day. So they would have English every other day for 85 minutes, okay? So you can see on A day, then on C day, it's the blast block, then on E day, where is it, the third block. So we see how it rotates every day as well. So it is not easy for anyone to say, well, I want my child to have a late arrival every day. It can't happen because it rotates every day. And an 85-minute class, to miss an 85-minute class is like missing 2 classes. So you have to be very careful about that, and something that you want to be very conscious of. We've done this for a few years now, and we have found it to be a really good schedule for kids in the sense of only having 4 classes to worry about each day and 2 days to get the homework done for the next class, and to really figure out how to organize their time and their schedules. There are 8 blocks total. Students are required to have at least 6 classes each semester. There is a 7th class that is PE, health, and their science lab period, and an 8th block that is often just an open period for students, gives them time to seek support, to get homework done, if to maybe just have some downtime. So we encourage everyone to keep to that, even though it's the possibility of filling that last block. It's very hard for students to go from 7 o'clock in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon, have a sport, get home, have dinner, and then focus, and that's the first break they get in the day. So we do always encourage freshmen to take that extra time to have some downtime. So that's what our schedule looks like. And you'll get used to this. Your child gets used to this very quickly, so it's not something they will receive a schedule in that block format so that they can see what they have each day, and you can see that as well. So that is something that you will get used to quite easily. So as I said, 5 core subjects: English, math, science, social studies, world language, plus 1 elective each semester or 1 full year elective, plus PE Health Lab, and then they'll have a study hall. Important to know, some students do receive extra supports, and they may not take the 5 core classes, or they may not take an elective that first year because they do need extra supports in something. You will get letters over the summer if they may need extra writing support or extra math support, or you're already receiving support at the middle school level. So look for those, and we're very careful about offering that to students who we think would really benefit from those extra supports as they move through the high school to get them up and ready for the rest of their years here. Honors classes, this is part of the recommendations that you will receive, and your student will receive when was it? In March, did we say? I think it's in March. So in the 5 core classes, you have the opportunity for regular or honors level in every subject except for world history. Everyone takes world history at the standard level. This allows kids to get ready for the writing and analysis they need for upper level classes. There is no reason to
to try to push for your child to be in honors all the way across the board if they're not recommended that way, because they will always have the opportunity to move up. If they're doing really well in freshman year in standard level, grade level classes, then there's no reason we can't move them up the following year. We are always trying to find that balance, that they're not taking too much, their grades are suffering, and they're losing the opportunity for that growth later on and for showing what they can do. Grades are important at the high school level, unfortunately, but we don't want kids to stress so much that they're losing their ability to do their best and to learn and dive into what they're really interested in. So we're always trying to find that right balance. Freshman year is sort of the test run, and then we're off and running after that. So they'll have opportunities. The recommendations are made by SACS from teacher input and in collaboration with the high school departments. And they look at their performance on standardized tests, on assessments in the class, and other factors that you'll hear more and more about as all this transition stuff happens. And then study hall is on their schedule as well. It's a good, quiet place for them to get work done or to have some downtime. And then finally, we are a BYOD school. We ask kids to bring a laptop to school every day, and we use the laptop. If that is a financial burden, we do, of course, have opportunities for kids to rent a laptop or lease a laptop or get help in paying for that. So, okay, that's what I got. Who's next? Okay.
Okay, so world language. So the languages offered at the high school are the same as at SACS, and that's French, Spanish, Mandarin, and Latin. In addition, there's a class called Latin Mythology and Etymology, which covers Roman history, culture, and myths, as well as Latin grammar and vocabulary. And it can be taken as a precursor to Latin 1 and can be a good choice for a student who has not yet studied a world language at SACS. Most 8th graders continue with the same world language in high school, but students also have the option of starting with a new world language, different from the one they've taken at SACS at level 1. This is subject to enough enrollment to create a level 1 class section for that language. For example, if they want to take French 1, but there are not enough students, they'll get notified that they have to make another choice. SACS world language teachers place their students into the class where they believe they'll be the most successful, and most students will be recommended for level 2 or level 2 honors. Recommendations are not based solely on grades, but also on proficiency expectations, which are spelled out in each world language class description in the online program of studies that Brad Lepisto mentioned. Honors classes move at a quicker pace, and students are expected to do more preparation for class and work more independently in an honors class. Students need to go through an online appeals process to request a different level of their world language, and unlike most classes, they need to appeal whether they want to move up or move down from the class they're recommended for. The teachers really want to understand why they would want to be at a lower level if the teacher feels they can handle that higher level. So that's sort of an exception. Most times if you're appealing, you're just appealing up. Another very cool thing, students who reach level 4 of a language at the high school have the opportunity to participate in proficiency testing, and if they achieve a certain score, they earn the Connecticut Seal of Biliteracy, which recognizes the tangible benefits of being bilingual and prepares students to be 21st century global citizens. The seal is added to the student's transcript and also to their diploma. If your child happens to be proficient in a language that isn't one of the 4 that we teach here, they can also go for the Seal of Biliteracy in either sophomore, junior, or senior year, maybe because they speak a language at home or they just know another language. So they should simply just let their high school counselor know that they're interested in doing that, and they can also do that. So it's pretty much any language can apply to that Seal of Biliteracy. Okay, and if you have any further questions about anything I just talked about, please contact your child's current world language teacher. Who's next?
I'm Becky Pavia, chair of the math department, here to talk about possible math classes that your students could take. So the math programming can be a little bit complicated. There's one of 6 different math classes that freshmen can be enrolled in. But the sequence generally starts whenever a student takes Algebra 1. So for some students that will be in 9th grade, some students that might be in 8th grade or 7th grade. So so it kind of follows this path. This is also on our math section of the New Canaan High School website, where you can find out some more information as well. There's different levels of each of these courses. What's tricky about math is that it's so sequential. So if a student starts in Algebra 1, if they took one math class every year, they would get to pre-calc their senior year. And that's just important to think about, because depending on what their goals might be after high school, it might be important to adjust how they move through that pathway. They can accelerate the pathway by doubling up geometry and Algebra 2 whenever that year would be that they take those courses, or there's an option for moving through pre-calc a little faster, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend. But again, if a student has a goal in mind, like, it's important to kind of keep these things part of the conversation for now, even though they might not know exactly where they're going to end up in 4 years, but just something to keep in mind with the planning. If a student does take 2 math classes, then they would be dropping their elective. It can be tricky to take 2 math classes. We don't have a guarantee that they would be on different days. I have students that take 3 hours of math in a given day. They go right from algebra to geometry, or vice versa. So just important to be a part of the conversation. So if you think your student may be interested in that, then I would talk about that when we go through the transition process with your child's teacher, and then you can always email with any questions.
Our high school electives are a cornerstone of the student experience, offering a robust array of opportunities for self-advocacy and skill development. From visual and performing arts to career technical education, these courses empower students to explore their interests, develop new talents, and ignite lifelong passions. Imagine a student writing their college essay about the profound sense of relaxation and freedom they found in their ceramics class. Or consider the practical life skills gained in foods and nutrition, where students not only learn culinary techniques, but also take pride in cooking a full meal for their families as part of an assignment. Electives are designed to be both inspiring and diverse. Students might create an online portfolio in digital photography, craft a cutting board in woodworking, or design a functional space in interior design. Our performance and media arts courses are equally vibrant, with opportunities to join choir, band, and orchestra, even composing an original graduation song in music technology, or hosting the school's morning news through TV broadcasting. We offer a mix of year-long courses, providing consistency, and semester options, allowing students to experience something new mid-year. No matter the choice, these courses play an integral role in the 1.5 credit CTE VPA graduation requirement, and are carefully incorporated into the 4-year academic plan created with a school counselor. We encourage students to approach their elective selections thoughtfully, but also to embrace the unexpected. A first choice elective may not always fit the schedule, but students often discover an entirely new passion in the process. So join us at the 8th grade orientation night, where you can meet teachers and students to learn more about our incredible electives. And yes, the foods and nutrition waffles are delicious, but they're just one small taste of the amazing opportunities awaiting your student. We are proud to offer a comprehensive network of support to ensure your student's success and well-being throughout high school. This team consists of 9 school counselors, 2 school psychologists, 2 school social workers, a college and career center coordinator, teen talk counselor, and 3 administrative assistants. Each student is paired with a dedicated school counselor and administrator, all 4 years, fostering a consistent and meaningful relationship to guide them academically, socially, and emotionally. Adjusting to high school can be challenging and it feels different for every student. Some will adapt quickly, while others may take more time. No matter when or how these challenges arise, our team is here to support them every step of the way, and all of you as well. High school is an exciting time where students experience more freedom and independence. We help them navigate these new opportunities with confidence and resilience. We have a monthly newsletter. We've called it the Counseling Chronicles, and that's posted every month. It's filled with tips, resources, and reminders to keep everyone informed and connected. New this year, and Mr. Gustich made it larger, we have an Instagram account too. So send me back with some more followers to the Counseling Suite today. We are committed to ensuring your student feels supported as they grow, explore, and succeed during their high school years. Co-curricular opportunities. Our high school offers a wide variety of co-curricular opportunities, clubs, ensuring there is truly a club or activity for every student. Whether they're passionate about robotics, theater, debate, community service, or environmental advocacy, students can find their place and connect with peers who share similar interests. The best part, if a student has a unique idea or interest that isn't yet represented, they have the freedom and support to create their own club. These opportunities are a fantastic way for students to explore their passions, develop leadership skills, and build lasting friendships. And if you want to start to take a look on our website, we have the clubs, and it's updated as students develop new clubs or create new clubs. This is an updated look, and you can see on our website under co-curricular activities all the different opportunities that our students have. And something, I'm fairly new to this district, and something that I really appreciate is just the students' ability to create their own clubs. They don't have to sort of find a pre-existing club. That truly, really is something that's honored here, and I think that that's really special. Okay, and I'm going to bring up Mr. Egan and Mr. Melzler for athletics.
Good morning and welcome. I really appreciate Principal Egan's apology for what he said to us. I have to say, though, unfortunately, I had to wake my wife up at 7 o'clock this morning as I got dressed and to put on 2 or 3 different outfits to make sure that I was going to look professional before I came here. But anyway, thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. I appreciate your apology. Before I get to the specifics about athletics, Bill mentioned the amount of time he's been here. I've been here for a while. My first year in New Canaan was in 1985. I've been athletic director for 20 years, so I'm in my, I think, 40th year working here. And this has always been a school, has always been a place where the adults really delighted in their association with the young people. And so I think that's what you all can look forward to. And I will say about Bill, not just because he's our principal, but he has done a tremendous job creating a positive, caring culture at New Canaan High School. And the kids care about each other, the administrators care about the teachers, so it's a very, very positive, and I have quite a view of that, and I think we're probably in one of the best situations that we've been in ever. So I thought that would be important for you all to know. Danny Melzer's. Is that what you wanted me to say? So this year, I have the privilege of having an assistant who is Danny Melzer. He's working with us. So 40% of his teaching responsibility is working in athletics. And 3 of his main responsibilities are helping us coach/evaluate our sub-varsity coaches. So we have 102 coaches. We have 31 programs. And so I supervise all the head coaches and evaluate the head coaches. And so our freshman programs and our JV programs, the quality of those programs are just as important as the quality of the varsity programs. So it made sense to put some administrative resources behind that. Danny's also helping me with supervision. New Canaan High School is kind of known for people come to the games and people are interested in all the games and at all levels. And so we like to have an adult presence there, which we need. So Danny is part of his responsibility as well. And he's also helping us manage all of our social media, including Instagram and streaming. So it's common for schools like New Canaan to stream most games where it makes sense to stream them, and so we are doing that. Specifically, just one other general comment about athletics. 70% of our student body participates in athletics at one point in time in the school year, which is a pretty high number. There are other schools that have similar numbers. So that is a real positive thing for us. And if they're not participating in athletics, they're probably participating in visual or performing arts, or they're involved in NCTV. So the message is, get your money's worth and participate in something in each season. And that's, I think, the best advice that any parent could give to a young person. Don't be afraid to try something new. And you don't necessarily have had to have been doing it since you were 5 years old to start doing it when you get to high school. There's endless numbers of young people that we've known that have started something in 9th grade and become the love of their life and something that they do forever. So I think if there's some advice for you all as parents, that would be one piece. And the other piece of advice I would give you is trust these adults that you're going to come in contact with, whether it's the guidance counselors, whether it's the teachers, whether it's the coaches. These are people who care about kids, and that's why they're in the profession, and they're going to be the best resources that you can possibly have as you shepherd your son or daughter through this journey. So as far as some specifics about athletics, we have what we call a Meet the Coaches Night. It's going to be this year pretty much June 2nd. The spring schedules aren't finalized, so we try to work around what our playoffs are and our coaches are available. So this is basically like a job fair where 31 of our head coaches will be in the gym. They'll all have a table. You'll all be able to come talk to the coach about your program. The coach will tell you anything that you might need to know. And it's important to do this. We have pretty good attendance with this, but one of the things that, just would like you to know is the CIAC, who governs athletics in Connecticut, changed one of their out-of-season rules. So our coaches can now have programming, involuntary programming in the summers. So this past summer was our first summer going through it. So some of, there's some basketball programming. There's always been physical conditioning programming. So as an incoming 9th grader, it's appropriate for young people to get involved in that if they want to do so. Now, it's not mandatory. So practice for fall sports, the golf is a fall sport for boys, and that starts on August 11th. All of our other sports start on August 18th. But this is really when they start, and it can be a little confusing because it doesn't align with when school starts. And so we try to get this message out to as many people as we can, because we expect that if they're going to participate, that they're going to be there on that date, because for a lot of reasons. So if they're not, we've worked around it with freshmen, but we would like to have them there if at all possible. That's our website, ncrams.com. You can find all the information that you want: coaches' contact, information about our programs, buying tickets, streaming information, anything that you really need to know about athletics. Anything else?
I think you nailed it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So obviously, New Canaan High School is an amazing school for a lot of reasons. But as everyone has said, we really do want the best for each and every one of your kids as much as possible. And there are other public high school options for kids all over Connecticut, of course, including here in New Canaan as well. Subpar, no. But we're really highlighting that these are free public high school options that include transportation. So you received an email in December giving you information and links to learning more about these programs. And us, Sachs Middle School counselors, are happy to talk more about that if that's the right thing for your child and you want to explore that. You can see, the deadline is coming up pretty soon. That's why we send out that information a little bit earlier. But certainly don't hesitate to talk with us if one of those options is of interest to your child. All right, so I lost my place. I think this is me, right? What's next? That isn't meant to just be a transition word. It's literally a kind of a theme that we can all apply. In other words, really just kind of focusing on the present moment. What do I need to do next? What's the next thing? And we want your kids to have that same mentality. So we say that even though we're starting to talk about high school, kind of trust us that we'll have you pause, think about high school, but then really get back to thinking about just what's next for me, what am I doing right now, and enjoying that unique 8th grade experience. That's really the best way to prepare is, okay, what did the teacher just ask me to do, or what do I need to do right now? Like I said, we'll take care of more of the long-term planning for them. And the kids are fantastic. They're so engaged in the lessons. We have no concerns. In fact, we're always very impressed with how engaged they are. Be true. The point is, we tell the students the only way you can, like, quote unquote, get this wrong is if you're not doing what you want to do, if you're doing what your friend is telling you to do, or if you're doing what you think your friend thinks you want you to do, So as long as they're just really being honest and true to what they're interested in, what they are curious about, you really can't, quote unquote, do it wrong. And as people have talked about with the co-curriculars and the athletics, certainly being involved in whatever way that works for your kid is highly recommended. Just plugging into something besides 4 classes a day, we're confident will be really fruitful.
Thanks, Brad, and to the team as well. The last few minutes here before we go into question and answer, just covering a couple things. A lot was covered there that has so much depth to it. Brad spoke to and Sarah spoke to some of the lessons that are going to be going on in the classrooms. We get to see them go into the classroom, work directly with the kids, bring high school kids in to work with our SAC students. These guys facilitate all that. It really is such a thoughtful, caring process for them, for our students to feel, your children to feel so comfortable going through that. It goes without saying there are going to be some nerves, there are going to be some questions, but I have never witnessed anything in terms of a collective team effort that sets students up and parents and families up for that transition to be as successful as it is. And again, if things don't go exactly as planned, we're here to help make any adjustments or answer any questions or provide any resources or information along the way. So we don't want to sit here and say everything's always perfect, but it's pretty darn close. And these guys do an awesome job. So thank you to the entire team here. I do want to give a shout out to our K-8 math coordinator, Mr. Ponte, who is also in the crowd. Again, we have people that support us along the way and who are present, may not be up here on the panel, but we are surrounded by such an amazing team of professionals who do their part to make your children get the best that they can of their education here in New Canaan Public Schools, and we're really proud of that. So in terms of the final thanks, I also want to give a huge shout out to our PTC Executive Board that is listed there in terms of their roles. The support that our PTC and equivalent, the PFA at the high school, provide to us as educators working with your children really allows us to do things that don't happen in many places. We like to use the quote that, the support that the PTC gives us allows us to dream big, and they help bring those dreams come true for your kids. And, whether it's the Hawks Court project that just got completed that's going to benefit the entire community, whether it's Hawks Valley that we get to utilize in our outdoor learning spaces, whether it's the PTC teacher grants that help support innovation and providing experiences within the classroom, or even just the day-to-day and seasonal supports that our PTC provide as well. They are the unsung heroes of what we're able to do within our respective schools, so thank you. Ann Spilker, thank you for coordinating, because we always love a good food and beverage selection. That always makes a meeting go well, so. Next year, we're going to see if we can get a parking representative to support, hopefully, but no promises, but just throwing that out there. And then finally, as without you guys being here, everybody coming out and braving the cold, we thank you for being here. As we've said many times, this is just the beginning of this journey, and all these resources are going to be available to you. These slides, the video from today, are going to be included in the weekly. They will be uploaded on the website, so everything is going to be accessible to you, as well as, of course, reach out. Reach out to your child's counselor, reach out to us as an administrative team, and we'll be happy to help and support. So with the last few minutes, we'll answer any questions, then we'll stick around. We'll have a hard stop at 10:30 so everybody can get going, but if you want to head out, you're welcome to, but we'll answer any questions you may have. I will facilitate and kind of read the panel to see if somebody looks like they're the one that wants to jump to the answer, but if there are any questions, we'll field those now. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you. This was extremely helpful. I appreciate it. So I have a question about the honors classes. My daughters were asking how many honors classes are kind of a reasonable workload to handle per year, and does that increase as you get to senior level? And then also one of my daughters was wondering if she's taking honors classes and somebody else is taking a regular class and she gets a lower grade and she applies to college, is that going to be an impact or?
Great questions. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try and repeat this so it is on the video so people can hear it if they watch it later. I won't do as nice a job repeating that. It was a couple terrific questions, but they're around honors choices for students as they go through, and also how that relates to grading based on weighting and with respect to their peers as well. I believe Cindy drew her mic over, so she'll take that one.
It's always a fine line between that, because if you're hoping your child goes to a very highly competitive school, anything, any kind of average grade is going to hurt it, whether you want them in an honors class or a regular class. So yes, next year the most you'll take is 4, and even that could be a lot, depending on your child's the work ethic or their ability to handle a lot of homework. If they are someone who stresses over homework or spends a lot of time on homework, that's going to be a lot for them because it's note-taking and it's reading. Other kids fly through that, reading comes easy to them. Notes, they're taught how to take proper notes, but it's also something that is something they have to work towards. I'd rather see a child in freshman year take a couple of honors classes and get top grades and move up than to struggle with all those honors classes and get low 80s or something in there and have to move down because they can't manage it. So I always recommend be a little safe in freshman year because the opportunities will be there moving as they go through. Would you say anything more different than that? Okay.
Just to clarify really quickly, are the honors classes open to everyone or is there some sort of screening process?
There is, they must be recommended to go into the honors class. I'm sorry, the question was, is there a screening process? I didn't say running. They will be recommended, and you will see those recommendations before there's a final decision made. And then there's an appeals process where we review it to look at it again if a child really wants to take that class at an honors level. And there may be opportunities in the third quarter where the teacher will say, well, you really weren't keeping up with homework, or your assessments have really been hurting you. So there's an opportunity for the child to look at it again and see what they could do differently to maybe see that they are able to manage that. But there's a big but there that I wouldn't push your child to do that because of the anxiety we see, the comparing that goes along. It's, I loved Demi Moore the other night saying, put down the measuring stick and really don't look at what other kids are doing and really know who your child is.
So Ms. Crow does have a microphone and she's exhibited terrific effort to get to anybody who has a question, so I don't have to repeat them. But if you do have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, but I am gonna just expand on that and just say that, just as a reminder and a recommendation, you know your children best, but please do trust the suggestions, the recommendations of the professionals who have done this so many times with so many kids, and your kid is your kid, and every experience is different. I'm speaking as an educator and as a parent. All 3 of my kids are really different. And we love them all, but they go through different paths. But these guys really do take things case by case and individualize for your child, for their experience, and they will help through that. So I think that was the best example possible by just ask questions. Then you can make your informed decisions on what you think is going to be best for your children, as opposed to saying, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So thank you for opening. That was a great way to open with questions. Okay, question there in the middle. We'll pass the mic down and see how this goes.
I don't think we talked about that lunch and nutrition. How long do they have for lunch? And how large are the crowds?
25 minutes. It's about it. They have an opportunity to bring their lunch or buy lunch, and the lunch at the high school is better than at any of the schools they've been in so far. The kids really enjoy their options here.
They do have wonderful food options, but we have an awesome food service.
It's fun.
No competition ever. Another question coming up front.
So every year I see the lists of honor rolls and high honor rolls. Could you talk about that? What percentage of the student body makes it, and what's the implication? What's the criteria?
Starting on this. A 90 is high honors. So if your GPA is at a 90 or above any quarter, that's high honors. 85 or above is honors. Don't know the percentages. So I would say a good percentage of the class meets honors or high honors. So,
Bragging rights?
that's about it, yes.
Other questions? Looking, it is 10:29, so probably about, okay, go ahead.
Just the other part of the first question was around the grade weighting for honors classes. What it was one wanted to address that.
It's a multiplier of 1.075 on their overall GPA or their academic GPA. So each honors class that you take, it won't show in the raw scores or the scores they get for the report cards. That the weighting doesn't show. It shows on their transcript and their overall GPA. We are working with them and so that you will be able to view that each semester, but right now you don't see it. So we will help you with that. But it is a multiplier of 1.075. So I would say that's about 5 points, 3 to 5 points on them. So if you're getting an 85 in a class, they show up as around a 90 average as part of the weighting in the GPA, but the raw score stands. Does that make sense?
Back corner.
Yep.
I suppose I could have helped with that.
Hi, if your child takes an honors or AP class and then they go back a level, does that show on the college transcript?
Yes. You have to, we give credit by semester. If your child starts in a class and within October or early November decide it's been the wrong move and you switch to the regular level class, that will not show. But if you, at the semester break, then decide you're going to make a change, that will show on the transcript. So we give semester credit for every course.
And I would just add, we do have a level change process that students go through. So there's a form that sort of guides the process, but it's a kind of a collaborative effort to ensure that the level change is an appropriate one. So teacher weighs in, parent weighs in, there's sort of tasks that we ask students to do before requesting a level change, making sure that they're going for extra help, those types of things.
Thank you. Is the 1.075 credit consistent with other schools in Connecticut?
Yeah, we're pretty similar. We're always, we watch, compare ourselves to similar schools in our area. So with Darien, with Wilton West, and we're pretty comparable to what they do. But Wilton doesn't weigh in anything, so that's their problem. So.
Question in front.
Just an easy one. What's the size of the high school compared to SACS in terms of student numbers?
The size of the student population varies. It's literally within usually about a dozen or two each year. I believe we're the larger school this year, Mr. Egan. I'm not sure of your enrollment, but we always go back and forth in terms of probably within 10 or 20 students, and we're right around 1,300, give or take, each year.
Generally, the grade levels will come up.
Thank you for all of the information. You touched a little bit upon the idea of student services. If your student has a plan or is receiving services at SETS, could you talk, I'm sure it's a little bit more elaborate than there's time for, but is that to the guidance counselor, or how does that process work with the transition to the high school?
Yeah, we follow the calendar, so whatever the annual meeting date is, oftentimes we do meet relatively early because what SACS has laid out for accommodations or other options for a student would be different at the high school. So we may meet early to talk about that and revise the plans. But we usually like to see the student settle in here first before we jump to that. But it's also with parents, if they're feeling we need to meet quickly, we would. That sometimes, depending on the plan, would take the place of an elective or the world language in the first year. Because most colleges like to see 2 to 3 years of a world language, so we might have time to hold off on the world language if the child still wants to get electives in as well. So it's different for every child, but we could meet early, and some meetings are held in the spring, right, before school starts.
Yeah, I think you were also asking about sort of case management, and like basically the staff structure is the same. Still have special education teachers as case managers, school counselors as case managers, 504s. Really, yeah, the kind of personnel, the human resource structure is identical.
I'd say it's probably safe to say that in addition to special education, students with 504s, that's part of that transition as well. So those services will be communicated and be provided right out of the gate. So it is 10:34. I know we started a little bit late, so I think we got our full 60 minutes in, but I want to thank you all for coming out. We'll hang out for a little while if there are other questions, but otherwise, feel free to reach out, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.